with those. Yes, the American voice recording in progress. So look, thanks for joining us. I'm not one to take up any more time than we need to, but I was hoping to have our sort of newer members on the call just to sort of brief them on the Achievers Awards and what they're there to stand for, why you should get involved. We've increased our number of new members, our number of wholesale members substantially over the last 2 years because of COVID. So a couple of you on the call, and hopefully we've shown value. And Achievers is the biggest event that we host in the calendar year. So we want you to get involved. Before I do start, I did mention we've got some of my team on here. So John, who you'll all know and enticed you onto this call, looks after our membership development and liaison officer, to give his full title. And Kirsty is, I guess, our Achievers coordinator, more so on the supplier side and the judging side. So she'll be in contact with you in due course, I'm sure, once we start to get to September, October, and when the actual physical judging takes place. And then Julian is here just as backup support as a sponsor and wholesale buying group, whose members will be, I'm sure, joining or entering the awards. So what I'll do, I'll just quickly share my screen with a couple of slides here. It isn't death by PowerPoint, but the slides are purely to ensure that there is something interesting to see. I don't know what people are seeing on the screen at this point.
That's perfect.
Yeah, cool. Excellent. Okay. So anyone who hasn't been to Achievers before, this is a snapshot of what it's all about. It's about recognising the industry, the individual members and wholesalers that make up that sector, and it's about rewarding and highlighting best practice, both at a business level and also at an employee individual level. We've been going for 20 years. This will be our full 20th year of running them. And that, I think, the growth and success of Achievers has been unparalleled, that we have now outgrown the Sheraton, where we've held it for the last 20 years, and are moving to the O2 Academy, which is the old Corn Exchange in Edinburgh, to allow us to extend the numbers from 400, 450, well, with 400 last year because of COVID, 450 back in 2020, and we can double that capacity this 2023. Not that I'm expecting to, albeit it'd be nice if we could. But equally, the more we have entering, actually, the bigger a success it is. And the more it entices our supplier members to get involved and to come along and do that networking piece. So, because Achievers isn't just about recognising best practice and shining a spotlight on the sector and their members, but it's also about bringing the wholesale industry together on one night for celebration, for a bit of fun and a bit of networking. You know, we can all be competitors by day, but actually at night we're all hopefully friends. And certainly that's actually been seen during the pandemic, and John can maybe say more on that later. But I guess just there's I use this as quite a nice testimonial to what the awards have achieved and what it means to the award winners. I know this is Miller's Larder, a small local producer, but I think it sums up what many award winners and non-award winners feel about Achievers. The awards are prestigious. They are highly sought after. These aren't the same as many awards that are just paper-based judged. These are judged physically and are face-to-face, either virtually or in person by the sponsoring judges. So I guess you can say that they're not bought awards, and certainly none of the team, the Central Hub, Kirsty or John or anyone else in the SWA are involved in the process. It is all the sponsors, and Julian will mention a bit about that in a minute. And then they are independently verified. So we have a panel of independent industry judges and from academia. So last year, and pretty much be the same this year, with Lee Sparks from Stirling University, Tom Christians ex-Brakes and chairman of Country Range Group, Anne-Marie Docherty from Strathclyde University, Ilva Hugland from Zero Waste Scotland, Alison Nimmo from Capita, who are training experts, and John Forteeth, as many of you will know, from ex-industry colleague and now consultant to the sector. This year we have 10 wholesale business awards. That's, I think, was 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 of them up on the screen. So 10 wholesale business awards, 2 wholesale employee awards, and 6 supplier awards, one of which is to recognise Best Supplier Sales Exec, and we'll come on to that in a minute. This year we have included a new award, Local Supplier of the Year. That is to recognise and support our Delivering Growth Through Wholesale programme that hopefully you'll be aware of, some of you participating in that actual programme itself, and that is about how we as a wholesale industry can bring more local producers into our vehicles, onto our wheels, into our depots, and distributed through onto the plates in the restaurants and shelves and retail convenience. So highly encourage you to speak to your local suppliers and get them to enter the awards. It is a new award, and I'm sure it will be highly taken up in its offer and entered. But I guess for you as wholesalers, what is the benefit for you in entering? And for that, actually, I'm going to pass over to Julian. And Julian, if you maybe want to say a few words on why wholesalers should be entering.
Yeah, I guess Unitas is quite uniquely placed. First of all, that our membership represents such a diverse section of the industry, and that's the really first important thing for me, is that wholesalers from all sectors, on of all sizes and of all persuasions, if you like, are judged on an equal footing. And I find that more so in this particular set of awards than probably any other in the industry. So we like the fact that you have people who employ 50 against people who employ 2,500 can enter the same category. And for me, I think that's unusual. I guess there's some really obvious things. So in terms of the positive PR and the kudos that you can derive, not just from being a winner, but from actually being nominated and recognised in the industry as being amongst the best in the category. I know our members use that in terms of positive PR when they're talking to suppliers, service providers of any sort, really, just to elevate the qualities that they bring into their particular area of the market. And we've often found that awards, if we've ever won any ourselves, but our members in particular, they're front and centre at the reception area when you come in, and every employee gets a sense of pride for being part of an organisation that has been recognised as being one of the best in the industry. Unusually, the feedback we have from members is that they've also used this as a bit of a process of helping them to benchmark. So when they look at the peers or their fellow competitors, if you like, that are being judged as part of the process, first of all, they can look at where they are strong and not so strong, where improvements can be made. And if they're not necessarily the winners, then they can also look at what qualities in their competitors or their peers in the industry they want to emulate or they need to improve. So I've found, speaking to members, that they get a big sense of sort of self-appraisal and are able to identify improvements. I think the whole process of speaking about what you do to an independent and an unbiased judging panel also allows you really to form bonds and relationships that wouldn't ordinarily be in place. You go pretty in depth about what you do and why you do it, and that kind of brokers some really good understanding and your supplier relationships thereof when there's suppliers on those judging panels. And really, I think in terms of that whole self-review process, it does spur people on to go and make changes in their business, and we can see that happening first and foremost. So from a wholesaler's point of view, there is nothing but positivity, whether you are the final winner or whether you are a runner-up or just part of the process. we have found the whole thing very self-affirming and generally develops good PR and relationships. That good enough for you, Colin?
Oh, perfect.
Okay. Well, I've never had that said before. There you go.
And it's on record as well. But no, I think actually one of the key points as well that you mentioned right at the start is that, you know, these awards don't discriminate against large and small. You know, we have multi-depot national wholesalers entering along with single depot, you know, family-run SMEs of which, you know, the audience is predominantly here, and that's, you know, the benefit of these awards that small and one depot wholesalers can win against multiples, and we saw that even last year with the likes of Fealty and such winning against their much bigger peers. So, you know, they're fair awards for everyone. But I suppose just that from, so we've looked at the wholesaler side of thing, actually just backing up what you were saying there, and I will reshare. Here's just some of the benefits that you know have been taken, and the pride's been taken in winning those awards. So we've got CJ Lang at the top there, putting on their truck, you know, that they won the community service. Then we've got, you know, the important element of individual employees, and so we've got the Rising Star for those that are 26 and under, and coming through, just starting to come through the industry, and through to the Employee of the Year awards, which are open to anyone within the wholesale industry. And then we've got the Supplier Sales Exec. So we've got Hazel there that won it last year. Each of them, so Amanda, Cassie, who was Employee of the Year, putting the lozenge on, and then Hazel getting her lozenge on. And just it's pride in winning such a prestigious award, and that's where we would certainly encourage you to be entering and nominating your employees, nominating your Rising Star, and equally getting your employees to nominate themselves, whether it be this one or the Employee of the Year, because it is huge kudos. It's recognition for them and the effort they have put into your business. It's allowing you to recognise their efforts, and if nothing else, they get the chance to win £1,000. Who doesn't need £1,000 in this time of rising inflation and costs? And that £1,000 goes across most of the categories, certainly all of the wholesaler categories as well. Regardless of which category you enter, you've got the chance of winning that £1,000 as well. So please encourage you all to enter your employees. I guess it's not just about the employees and the wholesaler awards, and I've not really got a slide for this one, but it's the suppliers as well. We have, as I said, 6 supplier awards, and this is where you can actually support your suppliers by nominating them and getting them to enter themselves in the awards that are open for their own entry. Kirsty, I will hand over to you, and because you are closer to the supplier awards, and you can give background as to what we're looking for from our wholesalers.
Okay, thanks, Colin. Yes, of the 6 supplier awards, we are asking you to get involved in 5 of those. So if I take the two that are the most continuing, with best overall service, that's for suppliers across the board. We ask you to nominate your top 20 suppliers, and then you vote on, from those nominations, I draw up a shortlist, and then you vote on them over a 4-month period, each month over a 4-month period. And we provide those results in a spreadsheet to the suppliers so that they can improve their service. This then means that if you participate in that, then you should get an enhanced service from the suppliers, unless they're 10 out of 10 from the start, which I can't imagine any suppliers are, particularly at the moment. And the same process applies to best food service supplier, where we ask you to nominate your top 15 suppliers, and then we again draw up a shortlist and ask you to vote over a 12-month period. I know already Gordon and McPhail do that through Elaine, so thank you to you. And I think Southeast Traders helped last year on a couple of the rounds anyway. So I encourage you to get involved with that, because as I say, it's not just about you helping the process. You should hopefully have direct conversations with any suppliers where there are any issues, and it helps flag it up to them, particularly if other wholesalers are experiencing the same issues. So that's those two. Project wholesale, all we ask you to do on that is think about a supplier that has done something extraordinary with you this year, or at least outstanding. So any sort of initiative that helps build sales through and profits through wholesale. So what we ask you to do then is nominate any specific project, and that can be just with you as a wholesaler, or it can be across the wholesale trade. It doesn't even have to be a Scottish only initiative, as long as they drill down and give you specific Scottish support and can flag up their sales from that. So encourage you to think about, you know, who stood out in terms of providing support for you as a single initiative. So that's project wholesale. Supplier sales executive of the year, that's sort of self-explanatory. We ask you to think about, again, who has gone above and beyond, and just name the person and we take it from there. Name the person, name the business, we take it from there. And then the easiest one of all, to some extent, is best advertising campaign. And I won't be contacting you about that till probably November time. And all I ask you to do then is think of which advert has stood out for you this year, nominate that, I draw up a shortlist and ask you to vote on that shortlist. And inevitably we get people saying, I don't watch TV anymore, you know, I just watch online. But even on catch up, you quite often get adverts. And if you go to the cinema or see posters, so as long as it's an advert running this year and it features a food or drink product that is sold through wholesale, that can be an advert. So that's the easy one. So yeah, encourage you to get involved on that, because really all of them, apart from Best Ad campaign, which is a bit of fun really, you should get some benefit from being involved. Okay, thank you. Back to you, Colin.
Thanks, Kirsten. Yeah, it's certainly the supplier ones where you're voting in the service. We have seen members getting a better service, as Kirsty says. So if you're really struggling with a supplier, then this is your chance to, I'll not say get your own back, but certainly put them down, and then they'll be judged along with their peers and judged or scored by other wholesalers. So it's a great way of getting better service. Julian, I was going to bring you in because you're obviously the sponsor of the Supplier Sales Executive of the Year. Kirsty sort of talked about it. I don't know if you've got anything else to add on that and the benefits of nominating a supplier sales exec.
Yeah, I found the process fascinating and personally very rewarding last year. I was expecting to get 4 or 5 candidates, and I think we got, was it not 18 in the end? And as daunting as that is, when you start to speak to these extremely positive, energetic individuals, again, all age ranges and from literally all walks of life, from what I would consider key branded suppliers all the way down to people who dealt with pickled onions in fish and chip shops. I mean, it was that spread. And every single one of them had something positive to bring. I think the candidates going through the process, so if you are nominating candidates within your own business, whatever the outcome, come away with a huge sense of self-worth, which there is never any negative to that particular situation. And also, strangely, it caused those who were part of the judging panel to do a bit of self-reflecting in our own business. So to try and understand why this individual has been nominated, what the qualities that you admire in them, why they are considered to be better skilled, better engaged, better performing than others. We had some self-reflection, and I know that some of the suppliers did. And probably the most important area that I saw was that the candidates are encouraged to go and get testimony from people within the industry. And that is typically those within their wholesale relationships, their supplier relationships. And the strengthening of that bond, when you get some positive praise back from somebody that, you know, they judge you every day of your life based upon what you do for their business and how you perform. And for them to give you complimentary feedback, and on some occasions some quite direct areas where you know, you might want to improve. I think that's an incredible opportunity that you don't get very often, unless you're the type of individual who goes into a business and says, please rate me. There's not many people. We do encourage people to do that, but there's not many people with that confidence. So the whole process is really self-affirming. It's about reinforcing the quality in your businesses. And then I guess overall, I was left with a sense of the sheer number of incredibly talented people we have in our channel. I think often our channel is perceived as being, you know, playing second fiddle to the major mults. It's absolutely not the case. And that for me was a fantastic, it was evidenced really through the candidates that we got last year, that we're in a good place, that we've got some great talent for the future. And it's the reason that we've been punching above our weight for the last 2 or 3 years throughout crisis events such as COVID. It just shows us, you know, the quality, the resilience and the talent that we've got in our sector. So for me, if I get 30 nominations this year, I will gladly participate. I found it fantastic.
That's brilliant, Julian. We'll set the bar a bit higher. We'll go with 50. So, just because there's nothing else going either. We did so much. Kirsty, I did notice you had your hand up and then you've taken it down. Were you want to come in on anything there? Oh, you're on silent.
Yeah, just to say, if you do nominate somebody for supplier sales exec, I'll either phone you or email you to get a testimonial just to back up that, so that Julian has a bit more information before he does the face-to-face interviews. But similarly to what Julian has been saying, that applies to the People Awards in for the wholesaler categories. So that's Rising Star and Employee of the Year. I mean, so many of the people said how honoured they were to even be nominated. I mean, they're all fantastic. Obviously, you know, if you're nominated, you're going to be, you know, standing above other people perhaps in your organisation, but they really do get a lot out of it. So I would encourage you to think about that from your own company's point of view as well.
Yeah, and the benefit is it doesn't cost anything to enter, but actually the reward to the business and the employee could be much more than money could pay for. So yeah, Mr. Farrell, John, are you obviously have been involved a wee bit in the last year in the judging, getting feedback from members. Is there anything you want to bring in?
Yeah, I'm picking up just some of the points that you've all made. Julian, you were bang on. You know, we had over 100 entrants last year, which I think was probably one of the highest we've had in a long, long time. Given that the challenges that everybody was feeling last year, coming out of COVID, back into COVID, etc., people's personalities were up and down like a yo-yo. But despite that, we had only a few call-offs, and again, it was down to pressures within the work environment. Obviously, because we've taken on new members against us last year, it would be even better if we could exceed that again and give you something to spend a week or two up in Scotland again, which I'm sure you enjoyed very, very much. But to summarise it, one of the points Colin made about whether you're big, whether you're small, one of our newer members nominated a lady called Jean Miller, who's set up a little company called Miller's Larder. And the quote that she gave, which I think Colin had put up on the screen, literally the next day, because she did win it, to be fair, and she was blown away, to put it mildly. But I'd just like to thank the SWA most sincerely for the wonderful evening last night. It goes without saying it's going to be a wonderful evening at the SWA Awards event. It was a great evening, which both my daughter and I very much enjoyed. Coincidentally, her daughter is working in our industry, but working in France. So she's been to many of these events over her time, I'm sure. I must say, though, to say I was surprised that we'd won is an understatement. Having been nominated was more than enough. I think that says it all. It's all about raising the bar for the kudos that it will bring to your company, the kudos and the rewards that it will bring to the individuals and the team if they're nominated, never mind if they win. So yeah, so I look forward to seeing tons of emails coming in, tons of entry forms over the next week or two. It actually has started. We've had one or two already this week, so I'm looking forward to seeing many more. So good luck to everybody, and look forward to seeing you all on the 23rd.
Well, you'll be seeing them a lot quicker than that, but just, I mean, obviously, we've gone through the benefits. We'll just sort of quickly touch on the actual process, which we have simplified this year, taking on feedback from last year and even the back in 2020 when we had pre-COVID. But John is there to help support you in the entry process, as is Kirsty. But John would be your primary point of contact if you're struggling either with the process, the entry form, the website, or you know, you just want somebody to chat to, because John does like to talk. But
saw that.
Julian can clarify. So in terms of the process, we have simplified it, and we've actually given you advance warning of what to expect, and as much warning as well. So you'll all hopefully have seen, or been on the website, seen the entry form, the words that we've gone over today that you can enter. At this stage, it is simply a case of tell us what you would like to enter. It's a simple tick box exercise. If you're nominating for an employee award, then obviously you need to tell us who you're nominating. But that's all really you need to do. But what we have actually done is within each of these awards is we've got a link through to the actual criteria that you will be judged on. And we've indicated actually how long that judging process is likely to take. It's normally between 45 minutes and an hour. Some are maybe an hour and a half if they're a slightly bigger award and maybe need more detail or want to potentially visit your depot and do a walk around, which is great. But what we're trying to say is, look, you know, there is no excuse here. The actual judging takes place September, October. We're only at the start of end of June. So you now in effect have 3 months to prepare, if not 4 months, if it was September, October that you're being judged, to actually prepare. And that preparation can be as long or as little as you want. It's entirely up to you. You might actually think, well, actually, I'm better just sitting in front of the person, either virtually, if that's the chosen way that the sponsor has decided to judge you, or in a room, if that's the means by which they've chosen to judge. So if it is a case of you're happy just to speak and you know, don't need to present anything, then that's it. You know, you've entered and you don't need to do anything. Others do like to pull together a presentation, which, you know, could take an hour, could take 2 hours if you wish. It really is up to you how long you spend preparing. And that's not to say the more you prepare, the better chance you have, because you know, Julian is quite eloquent in his words and could, I'm sure, win any award just by talking to it. But so yeah, this is a simple process, I would hope, and would encourage you to enter because of its simplicity. But so enter now. You will hear in August, the judges of your awards that you've entered will start to make contact with you to start to make plans to make a date to come out and actually judge you, as I say, which will be in September or October. So there's you know, a lot of time in between the different elements of the process, just to ease and facilitate the entry. I'm just looking at my other notes. So yeah, closing date on the entry is the 25th of July. So you need to get your forms in. Before then, John will be chasing you, I'm sure, during the next few weeks anyway. I would say that there are a couple of awards, slight caveat to what I've just said in terms of the judging September, October. That's when the majority of the judging will be. The individual employee awards is 2-stage. So in August, after the entry finished, the employees will submit, or you will submit if you're nominating someone, a reason as to why they should be put forward for this award. But again, that criteria is also on the website on that link through, so you can see what the 2 stages involve. And yeah, I think, you know, that sort of covers everything from my end. Kirsty, I don't know if you want to come in and say anything on that I've maybe missed through the process there.
No, I was just going to invite questions, which I'm sure you were going to do anyway, Colin. So just in case anybody's got any questions about either the judging or specific categories.
Yeah, please fire away. I do apologise that it's a smaller cohort than we had planned, but I guess business needs to take over.
I mean, I was just going to say that for ourselves, obviously, we'd be in the licensed wholesale category if we were going to think of entering. Previous years, we've always been a UK-wide wholesaler, but we've recently pulled out of wholesaling into south of the border. So we're much more focusing on Scotland on the wholesale side of things. So for us, it could be a good benchmarking exercise more than anything against our peers, and for us that would be more of the way we would be looking at it, I guess.
Yeah, that would be great to have you on board again, because yeah, I do know that in years gone by you have been part of it, but yeah, that sounds fantastic. And the other thing is, we do provide after the event not individual feedback to wholesalers, but we provide a sheet of feedback in the sense of what was best practice, why the winner won. So you know, you do get that element of it as well. So I think that's quite good to see what other people are doing that perhaps has been perceived as being, you know, standing out in the industry. So no, that would be great if you could get involved in that again.
Cool. I'll have to run it past my boss, but
and again, thanks to Elaine for doing all the scores every year. She's
I'm sure she was much quicker at getting them in than me. I was always late.
No, you were always very good. Anyone who sends the scores back is always very good. So thank you for that.
It'd be good to see you enter, and equally you could from your supplier point of view, the other side of the business, enter in the supplier awards as well.
Yeah, I know we've looked at that in the past, and I know I've seemed to remember writing a testament for an individual a few years ago who was up for the award.
Yeah, excellent. Anyone else? Any other questions?
Nothing from you, Lindsay?
Well, it was really just for me to get some information about it all. I didn't know really how it was all, what the process was, so it's been really good. Thank you.
The question is, have you got your frock picked out?
Oh yeah, but that's when I start that.
Great, and Stuart and Joe, I'll not put you on the spot, but thanks for joining us.
So he has got a face after all.
Yes. Just to say all good, thanks for the info. Perfect.
No, and I hope you're all going to be entering now that you spent the last 40 minutes listening to us droning on about how great they are, and genuinely they are. And you know, it is about, you know, as the more people enter, the bigger the awards become, the more benefit there is to you who enter in terms of that benchmarking process and feedback that Kirsty mentioned there. And obviously that's great for the sector, because the whole point of the Achievers when it was established 20 years ago was to start and, you know, move the sector forward, move businesses, wholesalers, members up that ladder of progress, and it's been phenomenally successful. And you know, we continue to do that. And that's why, you know, where we're linking awards to the other elements that the SWA are trying to develop and strengthen within the industry, such as that delivering growth and bringing more local producers in, the sustainability piece and rewarding businesses who are exemplifying how they are developing in the road to net zero, and it fits in with our decarbonisation project and everything that we're doing. So yeah, it really is about, you know, the more we can get involved, the better and more successful the industry, the awards are, and actually brings more of the suppliers together, not just the wholesalers. So it makes it more cohesive. And it's a great night. So hopefully you'll all be joining us also on the 23rd of February next year. Make that a date in your diary and speak to your suppliers, see if they've taken tickets, if they've got a seat. Well, they won't have yet bought tickets because that part's not live yet, the booking process, but make sure you are speaking to all your suppliers to say that they need to be joining us and inviting you as their guest. That's the one way of getting in free and getting free accommodation, hopefully, as well. So, guys.
You hear that, Stuart?
Yeah, I'm on it. Yeah, I'm on it.
Good.
Well, I appreciate you spending the time with us. Hopefully it's been rewarding or achieving a great achievement. And I look forward to seeing you all fairly soon, not just on the 23rd. So thank you very much.
All right, cool. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you all.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Cheerio.
Thank you.